Okay, good morning, party people. It is January 4th. Okay, so yesterday my second video has still not been released. I don't know what is so dangerous about the book of Nehemiah, chapter 9, that clearly there's some kind of horrible teaching in there. So anyways, just so you know, the second video is on hold. They're still reviewing it for some reason. But all my stuff I post on YouTube under my same name, Salty Kung Fu, and also on Rumble. So those of you that want to follow me there, you can go there too. I post everything there because so many people, so many Christians are having so much trouble with TikTok that although it's a great resource to get out, especially to kids, which is my focus, I'm trying to reach the youth. But I think at the same time, you know, they definitely can give Christians a hard time on here. So anyways, there you have it. So if you want to see the second video from yesterday, it is over on YouTube under the same name, Salty Kung Fu, or on Rumble, okay? So we'll see if this one gets out. Okay, today is January 4th. Our daily reading today is Isaiah chapters 55, 56, Joel chapter 3, so we finished Joel, Revelations 15, 16, Psalms 41, 42, and Proverbs 31. Okay, so that's our daily reading. So today we are in chapter 10 of Nehemiah. So those of you that have not seen any of my study on 1st, 2nd Chronicles, Ezra and Nehemiah, they're all written by Ezra, 1st and 2nd Chronicles, the book of Ezra and the book of Nehemiah. They're all compiled by Ezra. This was to encourage the people that went back after the Persian captivity to Israel to rebuild the temple and Jerusalem, right? So this is where we are on our timeline. Here is the Jewish kingdom. Here is the Jewish nation, and here is the kingdom. So here's Assyria, Babylon, and Persia. So this kingdom fell to Assyria. This one fell to Babylon. Here is Babylon, the story of Daniel. And now here we see the Persian kingdom. And so these are the people that are still in captivity after this harassment here. And this group went back to Israel under the king Cyrus. And then this group went back. And then now we're studying the book of Nehemiah, who went back. Remember, I've already said multiple times, I'm driving you guys crazy probably, how each group that went back did their own thing. They had their own focus. Well, Nehemiah, by the time he went back with his group, the purpose was to rebuild the wall, right? So they rebuilt the wall, put in the doors, everything is good to go. They've really upset the neighbors, the neighboring kingdoms, the Samaritans, and all of the ites, right? The Perizzites, Hebrizites, or whatever. There are a lot of ites surrounding them, and so they've become very upset because, of course, they've taken over some territory that Israel had to cede during all the trouble that Israel had been under, and the captivities and stuff, and when they lost their sovereignty, right? So the surrounding nations had taken over some of that territory. A lot of intermarriages, so there's a lot of, even the Jewish people that were left behind, there's a lot of divided hearts, right? Some of them feel closer to the people in the surrounding nations than they do their own people, right? So what we saw was after they rebuilt the wall, they read the book of the law, right? There's always a group even when they were in captivity, there were people that were teaching the law, but it wasn't like it was. Many of the people had not heard the law. They had heard stories of the law, stories about their ancestry, about Moses and and how they got the 10 Commandments. And those of you that have seen the movie, The 10 Commandments, so that, I'm sure they were raised hearing those stories, but the temple had not been functioning. They were not in Jerusalem, many of them, and so there was a real lack of tangible knowledge about their history and God. So when they rebuilt the wall, it increased this fervor of the nation that they wanted to know more, right? They were seeing outrageous things happen. It wasn't normal for a king to send back a people to rebuild a temple, rebuild a city, and to put up its walls. That's not normal. That was definitely God. As we saw in Isaiah 45, 46, it was Cyrus, the Persian king, was pre-named by God that he would do these things, and he did those things. So everybody recognized something unusual was going on here. And even the Jewish people themselves. So when they read the law, when the day that they read the law, or actually it was like a 3-week period, the people were just cut to the core, right? So God's presence clearly was involved in all of this. There was a great repentance. Yesterday we read in chapter 9, the Levites and the priests declared this beautiful psalm, which is one of the most famous psalms in the Bible. If you read chapter 9 in Nehemiah, it's considered one of the most premier psalms in the Bible, and they compare it to there's other psalms that they compare it to, but it's an awesome reading. If since maybe that's why TikTok banned it yesterday, but go back and read chapter 9 because it's absolutely beautiful. And then so now after their great exclamation and their rededication verbally to God, now you're seeing in chapter 10 them walking that out, right? So now they're going to actually start doing the things that they are called to do in the Old Testament to support the priests, to bring in the tithes, and all of that. So we're going to see that in chapter 10. And so what after they read this psalm, after the rededication, now we're seeing the beginning of chapter 10 says the people who sealed the covenant. So what they're saying is these are the people that after reading the covenant and hearing the covenant, all these 3 weeks of teaching, because the priests and Levites were actually within the congregation, within the people teaching them, right? They were so hungry that they actually were dispersing the priests and Levites to go among the people to teach them during this 3-week period of reading the law, so that not only were they hearing it, but they would come to an understanding of what it is that they were hearing, right? So so it was hard even for them. It's hard for us, it was hard for them. Okay, so now we're seeing in chapter 10 when it the people who seal the covenant. So this is like a just a way of, like, I don't know, what do you call it, where you're going through a motion to finalize what your heart is doing. It's an outward observance of your inward profession, right? So it starts with the leaders. So it starts with Nehemiah, and then there's a guy that's second. And in the commentary, it was wondering who this person was, because there's not a lot of information on them. There's thinking that this is the second person mentioned here, which we're going to see here, Nehemiah the governor, and then it says Hakaliah. And it must be Hakaliah and Zedekiah. I think it was Zedekiah, the person that they're mentioning. Zedekiah. They said there's a question as to who that person is, because it's mentioned right after, the person is mentioned right after Nehemiah. And so that's a place of honor. So they're thinking that this person, Zedekiah, could be from the, it might be the Hilkiah guy. I'll have to look again. But they think it might be in the Davidic line. So right in this kingdom here, in the southern kingdom, when these guys fell, this is the Davidic line. The kingdom was split. These guys are from the Davidic line. These guys did not follow God, but Rehoboam, these guys come from David, Solomon, then Rehoboam, and this is the line that Jesus comes from. And this group, the first group that went back under Zerubbabel was from the kingly line, right? He was also called the King of Judah. That was one of his names, but he wasn't functioning as a king, but they believe he had the genealogy. So they think that the second guy who's named here might be that as well. All right, so now I've only got like a minute left, so let me just go ahead and start this, then I'll do a second video. So it says, now those who placed their seal on the document were Nehemiah the governor, the son of Hakaliah. Yeah, okay, so the son of Hakaliah. So that's Nehemiah's the son of Hakaliah. And then it says, and Zedekiah. So Zedekiah is the guy. Zedekiah is the guy. Sariah, Azariah, Jeremiah, Pashur, Amariah, Malchijah, Hattush, Shebaniah, Malluch, Harim, Meremoth, Obadiah, Daniel, Ginnathan, Baruch, Meshullam, Abijah, Mijamin, Maaziah, Bilgal, and Shemaiah. These were the priests. So the priests were listed first. Next, we're going to see the Levites. The Levites, Jeshua the son of Azaniah, Binnui of the sons of Henadad, and Kadmiel. Their brethren, Shebaniah, Hodijah, Kelita, Pelalela, Hanan, Micah, Rehob, Hashabiah, Zakur, Sherebiah, Shebaniah, Hodijah, Bani, and Beninu. That was weird. The whole thing just flashed. The leaders of the people, Parash, Pahath, Moab, Elam, Zatu, Bani, Buni. Oh, no, this is the leaders of the people. So first it went to the leaders like Nehemiah, and then the guy that might be of the line of the kingly line. And then it went to the priests, the Levites. Now it's the leaders of the people, so the leaders of the families. Parash, Pahath, Moab, Elam, Zatu, Bani, Buni, Azgad, Bebai, Adonijah, Bigvai, Adin, Ater, Hezekiah, Azur, Hodijah, Hashum, Bizai, Harif, Anatoth, Nebai, Magpiash, Meshullam, Hazir, Meshezabel, Zadok, Jadua, Pelatiah, Hanan, Ananiah, Hoshea, I'm almost done, Hananiah, Hashub, Halohesha, Pila, Jobak, Rehum, Hashabiah, Maaseiah, Ahijah, Hanan, Anan, Amaluk, Harim, and Baana. And I'm out of time. Okay, I'll see you in the second video. Peace.